Hey everyone, I want to make a quick video here following up on the last few videos where I was discussing, the mechanism of self-image or ego. And specifically I want to talk about judgment in this one. Now, I'm not necessarily talking about how we judge others, though we'll get into that. More importantly, I want to discuss the fear of judgment from others towards yourself. Now, if you look at the mechanism of the self-image, it makes complete sense that we would fear judgment in others. And the reason being is that, our self-image gives us certainty. And when we feel that somebody's view is invalidating that image, well, we become more uncertain. And again, we start to lose our sense of value. So judgment is automatically looked at as a threat, and I discussed that in my last video where we were discussing, need and wanting validation to hold up our self-image and to hold up our ego. So that makes sense, and the way around that, the way to stop fearing people's judgment is, once again, to understand the mechanism of the ego, to understand that you are going to be judged, and you could be perfect in every way, shape, and form, and somebody is still going to judge you. And it has nothing to do with you. It has to do with the fact that they are operating out of self-image. And because they're operating out of self-image, what they're doing is that they're comparing their image to their image of you. So they're not really even seeing you. If they need to feel better than you, then they're going to perceive you in a negative light, regardless of what you do. So the point is that you could fear judgment or realize that judgment is always superficial. It's always coming from another ego, and it will always pad that ego in the ways that person needs it to. So if a person is feeling insecure and you run into them and you make the slightest mistake in what you say or what you do, well, of necessity, that person is going to perceive that mistake and exaggerate it in their own mind so that they can judge you and raise themselves up. And again, more often than not, this is not a conscious thing. We don't actually think to myself, well, I feel kind of crappy, so, oh, there's somebody and I'm going to judge them, and yeah, you're a real loser. Now I feel a lot better. We don't consciously do that. This is actually just a mechanism, and it goes with being in a self-image. So the more we become aware of how that mechanism works, the more that we can get around it. And, knowing a trap is a trap makes it not a trap. So now that goes back to the process of judgment from our standpoint. If that is true for other people judging us, that means that it's also true for us judging others. And there is a difference between judgment and discernment, and knowing that difference will help you along. And so I want to just cover this quickly. Judgment always raises or lowers your self-image. It always either puts you higher or lower in terms of your concept of yourself in relation to others. Okay? Whereas discernment is just looking at what's there, observing without opinion, without your perceptions of that thing reflecting on you as an individual. It's just the collection of information and the observation of patterns. That's discernment. But when you start raising or lowering your perception of your self-value based on how you need to see others, that's judgment. And that's a trap. But understand that as much as that's a trap for you, it's a trap for other people. So don't be afraid when people judge you or when you think that people are judging you. Understand that judgment, even if it is happening, and many times it's not, it's just your fear of being judged that's providing all of these wonderful thoughts of how you're being judged. Okay? But even if it does happen, remember, they don't see you. They see their image of you, and that image of you is created for their convenience, to pad whatever self-image they're holding on to that makes them feel secure in the world. And there's nothing wrong with that, any more than there's anything wrong with it when we do it. But it is self-destructive, and you don't have to live that way. You can actually move past self-image entirely, move to discernment, and start growing with each and every step and each and every observation. So that's my thought on judgment and the ego. If you have any questions, get in touch with me, and of course, leave a comment below. I'll be happy to respond. Talk to you soon, guys. Bye.